Hey guys, welcome to day 6, learning insert into the tables. Now that we have created tables in the last video, we also understood how primary key are used to define the uniqueness, how foreign keys are used to define the relation. Now it's time to breathe life into them. Until now, the tables were like empty rooms. We were able to create them. Although I have used some of the insert statement just to showcase the relation, let's go in depth into how insert statement work. In SQL, the operation of adding new data into table is done with insert statement. This is one of the four fundamental CRUD operation: create, read, update, delete. Today we'll focus on the C, creating records. How insert works. Think of table as a form with several fields. Employee ID, first name, last name, email, hire date, salary, department ID, etc. An insert statement simply start filling information into these spaces and they start creating the rows. For example, HR hires a new employee and you want to record their details in the employee table. Let us begin running this. Again, we'll use the same serverless compute which is available in Databricks free edition environment. The first command that we are using is use catalog that we have already created in the last demo, and now we'll be running another command called use schema. So we'll use this catalog and this schema. Let us quickly check show create table employees. Employee table is already created. We are assuming that there is a schema called company, and within that there is a table already created called employees. Now let us start. Now let us begin. So insert into the table name. What we do is insert into table name, and in the bracket we give the sequence of columns in which we want to enter the data. This sequence has to be exactly same as the number of columns in your table, and then in whatever sequence you have given this, in the same sequence you need to provide the values are like employee ID 101, first name is Alice, and then last name is Johnson, age is 23, gender is male, salary is 60K, and department ID and hire date. So all these things are present. So this syntax is a very specific syntax. Insert into table name, which is employees, the column names, values, column values. So like this, if you run this quickly, you would see that one new row will be inserted into the table. Once the row is inserted, you can quickly check whether your row is inserted or not. So yes, your row is inserted. 101 Alice Johnson, 101 Alice Johnson, 23 M, 60K, and department ID and hide it. Everything is inserted. If you want to if you want to insert multiple rows, this is the syntax: insert into employees table name, the column name, values, and then in sequence you can give multiple values. So let's simply run this, and you should be able to insert these four different rows into the table. All these rows will be inserted. I think the mistake that I made was like colon was missing, so I just replaced it with comma, and all these values will be inserted in the sequence. With this command, Bob, Charlie, Diana, all enter the same together. With this command, Bob, Charlie, and Diana all enter the systems together. Respecting constant. Remember the rules we set while creating the table. The databases enforce them during the insert operations. Primary key. Since this is a delta lake, and therefore you could see that the primary constraint is can be defined in the table but is not honored, right? But if you go to Microsoft SQL or any other databases, they won't allow you to insert something for which the employee ID already exists in the table. Primary key, uniqueness, foreign key, everything will be validated before a row is made part of a table. Since the employees depend on department, one of the key important thing is like, let's say you give a department ID which is not present in the department table, then the insert will be rejected. So the bottom line is you should be able to, if you have a foreign key defined in the table, the corresponding table should have the entry. So for example, if we are inserting in the department, let's say 99, then department ID 99 should already be part of the department table. It should be present. If it is not present, it will fail. And again, to reiterate, on Delta Lake, specifically on the lake house, this condition will not be honored. You would have to manage it via compute. At the first glance, inserting rows might feel like simplest part of the SQL, but as a data engineer, it's the beginning of every pipeline. Data must be captured, ingested in the right format before it is transformed, cleaned, and analyzed. Insert statements are like entry gates to your data system. Getting inserts right with the right constraints and validation ensures that the bad data never enter into the system. If the insert statement do anything wrong, then of course your insights will never be correct. There is a different way, like inserting into specifying insert without specifying the columns. So sometimes we may not want to specify the columns, but then you would have to insert it in a sequence. You can also insert data without listing names, but this requires providing values in the exact order in which the columns are defined. For beginners, this is risky and definitely not recommended. So, because any change in table design can break your insert, so we definitely, as a practitioner, always follow practice that we specify the column name so that we can always relate. But this way also you can do an insert. So, for example, let's take something like this, and if you give a right sequence, then you should be able to insert as well. So let's remove the sequence from here, and if our sequence is right, then the value should be, command would run and a value would be inserted. So insert into this, insert into table, this is values, and then instead of comma it should be a colon. Let's try to rerun this. So here the data will be inserted without giving any column names. So that is also possible, but then not recommended. Why insert? By mastering insert operation, you have taken the first step towards actively working with your tables. Until now, our employees and departments were like empty blueprints. With inserts, we have now begun to put life in them. Departments have been established and employees have joined. So department will have some entries and employees will also have some entries, and there will be some relation. In the next lesson, what we are going to try and understand is how to use the select queries so that we can analyze the data, how to read the data. So we understood CRUD, CRUD operation, create, read, update, delete. So in this, we have understood create, like creating table, inserting the data. Next we are going to understand is read part of the CRUD. Okay, so in SQL they say that you must understand what is CRUD operation. When we learn API, in that time also they say that if you understand the CRUD operation of any kind of system, you understand the system.